Today, my friends, I have for you a Town Hall 10 guide on the Dragloon / Dragon Storm attack strategy. This strategy is still really strong. It's going to be very base dependent. It's basically how you guys would use a regular Dragloon, since you are only using dragons and or loons and also lightning spells. So we're going to break down this base design right here and show you guys even more examples as we go through the video. With that being said, let's jump straight into the guide. So, as I said at the beginning of the video, we're obviously going over the Dragloon / Dragon Storm attack strategy, and this is one base design which is definitely good to look at. So, if we're taking a look at this attack strategy and also the base itself, there are a couple things that we need to keep in mind. First of all, we need to keep in mind where the air sweepers are pointing, and also what's really important is where they are placed. So let's kind of first talk about that. So air sweepers are really important in terms of any dragon attack. Sometimes it can prevent it, sometimes it will either lure you to using them, or it could have that chance of actually being pretty good in terms of the attacker's point of view, where you can hit the base with a drag bat, frozen dragon, stuff like that. So in terms of this, what we're looking at right here from the circled and here part here, we kind of zoom in here just a little bit closer. What we can tell is that if we look at the air sweepers and where they're pointing, they're a little bit deeper set into the base, meaning that this is going to be kind of what we're looking at in terms of the range of this one. And if we take a look at the other side, we can tell that the other one, it goes around like this. So this is what we're looking at. These are the areas that are being cut off. So once we know this, where is going to be our entry point? So this is something that is really important to know. We do have double multis right near each other, right by two air defenses. So that could be a good area for an entry point, since we can get rid of those two pretty easily. But we want the queen to take out that first air defense, that far one in the corner first. Then we'll have the dragons going in to take out for the next one. So that's really important. We need to take a look at those air sweepers in order to know if a dragon, or if this type of an attack, the Dragon Storm, would work well on a base design like this. The next thing that we need to consider is the air defense placement itself. So this is going to be really dependent. This is going to be depending on the number of lightning spells, and we've got some good examples with not that many lightning spells, like 2 lightning spells, 3 lightning spells, and an earthquake. We're going to be showing you guys in this video. But definitely, if we're taking a look at this base design, we have 4. We have a quad lightning spell composition in terms of that, because we also have a rage and we have some other spells to help with the dragons and the loons. In terms of this, what we need to do is we need to find. Obviously, we already know our entry point. Our entry point is right here. So what I'm trying to say is, from that, we're already gonna get this air defense out of the way with the queen. That's good, because as long as we can get one air defense with the queen, that is gonna be a huge help. Now, what if that air defense is a little bit deeper set? Well, what you want to try and do is possibly maybe even bring wall breakers to get that. If you're going into a multi-inferno compartment it's covered by a multi-inferno, then freeze that multi-inferno and then use the wall breakers. That's a good idea. But we already know where our entry point is, which means that these are going to be the 2 lightning spell placements, since it's away from our entry point, and that means that we've gotten 3 air defenses out of the way, only leaving that 1 for our entry point and the lava hound. You also notice that there is a lava hound in this one. The lava hound's job is to tank for the dragons as they move through. So in going in a step-by-step formation here, we obviously want to set the funnel. So that's where the queen is going to come in to pick off this side here, just get a little bit of value, but also get rid of the air defense, which is going to be a huge help. Not only this, but we also want the king going this way to get some sort of value from that side. So we want to make sure that he's funneling here, and we have the queen funneling here, and also, getting rid of these structures as well, leaving only this part of the base still up, so that then you can send the stone slammer in with the dragons as they move into the base. You want to save your rage spell specifically for, wherever, but earlier on, just don't use it immediately as they enter into the base. Make sure that they've gotten into the base, at least the first layer, then drop your rage, and that's what you want to do there. Save your haste specifically for the loons from the Stone Slammer. And if you have more loons with you on behind the dragons, then you don't really need to use a haste because the rage will also provide for them. The freeze spell, that's something that's a little bit different that you may notice here. The freeze spell should specifically be used on multi-infernos and possibly air defenses as well if there are any still left up. So for instance, say if there's still 2 air defenses up and you couldn't get one with the queen, then that's completely fine. Or you could even use it on the CC or something of value. But notice that we have the Lava Hound that goes in and actually tanks for those dragons. That's what you're doing with this. The freeze spell here in terms of this was actually used over the air sweeper. So that gives you guys another option to use in terms of this. Using a freeze on an air sweeper could really prevent any damage or from that air sweeper really pushing back any of the dragons as they move through. So it gives you guys a good idea. Obviously we can tell from the attack itself with the Stone Slammer, making sure that you're going in around the base, even if that Stone Slammer goes off in another area, you gotta really know that you want to save your haste spell for the loons from that Stone Slammer. So obviously you could probably have like a dragon in there or something like that, but usually having loons can really provide you with a lot of value. In that area alone, it was kind of really interesting to see that air sweepers were placed right there. Kind of seems like something, it's a very weird placement for it. So definitely there's a lot of different things that could really make a base design weird, and that's definitely one of them, but an easy base nonetheless for this type of an attack. So if you guys want to see more of this type of content, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. Also, let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see another Dragon Storm / Dragloon video, and I'll bring it to you guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few more examples that we have here for you guys. So you may have noticed here is that the base design is a little bit different, obviously from the previous one. The ADs are a little bit more spread out, so definitely this is going to be a little bit of a different base design, but we've got another one here that has 4 lightning spells. So you saw that from here, that 2 lightning spells were used on each of those top air defenses here in order to take those out. So now we have the queen going in on that last AD there, and now there's only 1 left. Notice that we also have a hound and also loons in the army composition. So we have that hound again to tank for the dragons as they move into the base. And not only that, but we also have the loons right behind those dragons. That's really going to be a huge plus for those dragons as they move through the base. And that's going to be really specific. We also have a baby dragon to help create the funnel on the opposite side instead of using the king on the opposite side. So this just gives us a little bit more extra value. So if you really decide on using a giant to tank for the queen, then feel free to. It's a good possibility. So definitely just, it's gonna vary from base to base. So as you're moving into the base, remember that you really want to try and deal with the CC, even if it's a damage, or even as a damage CC. It shouldn't be too difficult since you are bringing in a poison. You saw with the freeze as well, is that the freeze spell should specifically be used when you're going through a multi-inferno, expos, any freeze value that you can get from a base. That's going to really help you a lot with their freeze spell placement. Sometimes this will be an air defense and an air sweeper. So if you're seeing any value from your freeze, that's going to help you a lot when you guys are using this type of an attack. But again, you can see very, very simple nonetheless, very easy attack as well, and definitely a strategy that you guys should really think about using here at Town Hall 10. Now we've got a few more examples here for you guys, so then you guys can get a fuller picture in terms of this, just to show you guys that it is a very strong strategy, just going to be very base dependent. So let's go ahead and take a look at another example. Here we go, we got this base design here, and obviously you can tell from the army composition, there's only 2 lightning spells here. So what is the reason that you would only use 2 lightning spells out of, you know, all these other air defenses still being up, what makes it where you should use 2 lightning spells only? So this is going to be very base dependent, but it's also going to be very determining. It's determined on how that base is designed and how you're going to set your funnel. That's specifically what it is. So we can notice from the example is that we're going to be entering in from this area here and going in across this way. There are still 3 air defenses up. So how are we going to deal with the other ones? We have the Stone Slimer. Notice that we're not using it directly as the attack goes in. And we also have that rage to rage up all of the dragons as they move in through the base. But notice that we have not just the freeze, we have 2 freezes actually, but we also have the Stone Slimer going in from that opposite side in order to 1, tank for those dragons, and also take out that air defense, only leaving this other air defense up. So using a somewhat back-end Stone Slimer, not really, but a side in, I guess, I don't know what to call it, but definitely holding off on the Stone Slimer and then waiting until the right moment to start sending it in, so that then it tanks for the dragons and takes it out. That's what you're looking for. And then with the freezes, remember you want to get freeze value. So that's going to be the only reason you would really bring a freeze spell. That's what you're looking for when you guys are using 2 or even 1 freeze spell. Any freeze spell, you're going to try and be using those. But it gives you guys another good idea. What about the heal spell? You saw a heal spell in there. The heal, obviously, of course, what's going to be is in order to heal up those units, making sure that they stay alive as they go through the base. Just like with anything, with any sort of attack with a heal, make sure that you're keeping those main units, aka the dragons, alive. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the next example. So you guys can see from this example here, we have 3 lightning spells this time and a quad quake. Now this is definitely a little bit different. The only reason you would be using this is, notice the placement of these air defenses. Kind of zoom in a little bit more. You can kind of see how they are placed here. And you can see from right here, notice that this entire compartment, it's not going to be entirely gutted out, but the air defenses are. So these type of compartments are really good for using the Zap Quake method. And you can see from that Quake, it got rid of both air defenses and heavily weakened these 2. So it can really be a very powerful unit as long as you're finding the right base for it. So this in specific gives you guys that right mindset when you guys are using this type of an attack. So as you're starting to send everything in, remember that you want to use your rage spell as you move through, and also you want to try and make sure that you use your freeze spells over freeze value. That will then allow you to get a lot of good value from your freeze spells as you move through the base. Obviously you can tell from here is that the dragons do a really nice work. They do a really good job at tearing through Town Hall 10s. They're almost like witches of Town Hall 9, but now like they're dragons here at Town Hall 10. So definitely they are still really strong. Dragons are just really viable here at Town Hall 10. You guys can do a lot of different ones. Let me know if you guys want to see a dragon variety guide, and I'll bring that to you guys. I've been considering it, but let me know in the let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see something like that, and I really don't mind bringing that for you guys, since dragons are really strong at Town Hall 10. So that gives you guys a really good example of just using 3 lightning spells and a quake spell, just like how I said towards the beginning of the video. So it gives you guys a really nice and really good option, just using a different variation of it. So let's go ahead and take a look at our last example we have here for you guys. So in our last example that we have here, it's a little bit more compact. You can definitely tell from this base design, and the air defenses are a little bit more spread out. So obviously this is going to be a good base design to kind of take a look at. So since there isn't a concrete area for these air defenses to be placed, we want to make sure that we're getting a lot of value from our entry point. So if we're taking a look at air sweepers in this case, you can tell that these air sweepers here are pointed towards each other, meaning that mostly it's going to be around something like this. So something like that. So we're entering into an area right here. Specifically, that's going to be our entry, or somewhat of our entry point specifically, since we don't want the we literally do not want the dragons to move on the outside and stay on the outside. We want them to move through. Now, obviously, you can tell from here, going in from a corner, making sure, though, that we are not being caught instantly by that sweeper and instead having the lava hound being hit by it, so that then we don't really have to worry about that all too much. Look at that freeze value right in that little area right here. That's some nice freeze value, and you saw it right there. That's what you need to look for. That is what you have to be looking for when you guys are using a freeze spell. So freeze value is all about that, especially when you're not using a non-bat strategy. When you're using that, you want to get value from your freeze spell, unless it's in a queen charge, that in that case. So obviously, this is definitely a very strong option that you guys should be trying out, and that's going to do it, guys, for the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I think I really did enjoy making this video for you guys, and hopefully you guys did enjoy it. With that being said, also feel free to go ahead and join Exit Humanity family / Exit Sanity, Exit Humanity and Exit Sanity, as they are recruiting for next season for CWL. Yes, Exit Sanity is going to be doing some league play. Not only that, but also feel free to join any of the clans I have down below to their discords if you guys have what it takes to join up with these guys in League Wars. Also, feel free to go ahead and also follow me on Twitter at _CorruptYT, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you guys can see all this type of guide content I have here for you guys. With that being said, that's going to do it, guys, for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.